Hey everyone, I am going to try to make dinner rolls for the first time today. I've made bread before, but not actual dinner rolls. So I'm going to use a recipe today I found online, and the author is Catherine Carr. I'm going to put the link in the description, so if you want to try this out for yourself, you can. Okay, so we'll see how this goes. This could be a total yes, or it could be a complete flop. I don't know, but I'm willing to try. I actually like cooking, and my hope is one day Jasmine will need to know how to make dinner rolls and she'll come back and she'll check out my video because she doesn't really cook. I mean, I've tried to get her in the kitchen and stuff, but she's just like, rather go upstairs and be a teenager. You know what that's like, right? If you've got a teenager, she go play games, be on the phone with her boyfriend, that kind of stuff. So the first thing it says is you get half a cup of milk, and it says to scald it, which generally would mean putting it in a saucepan and making it come just to the boil. But I'm lazy, so I'm gonna go nuke this thing and I'm just gonna watch it through the window. So I stepped away from the microwave for just a second. You definitely don't want to overcook it, that is so hot. Let's try that again. Okay, so we're gonna start this recipe with half a cup of scalding milk. You want it just before the boil, and you don't want to bring it actually to a boil, just before it gets to a boil. It took about a minute in the microwave. You can use a saucepan if you want, but I don't want to do that. And then we're gonna pour in half a cup of sugar, and I'm just gonna use this. And then we're gonna pour in salt, and that is 1.5 teaspoons of salt. You can make it less if you don't want that much salt. And then I'm gonna melt this butter, and it's 1/4 cup of melted butter. So that's only gonna take like 30 to 60 seconds in the microwave, and you don't even have to wait till it's fully melted. There's still a little chunk, and then you can just swirl it around a little bit. And then we're gonna pour that in here too and stir everything together. Oh, still little chunks. That'll be fine. So say it's not exact science, but it kind of is. Oh well. Okay, so we're gonna set that aside. Okay, we're gonna get a large bowl. I don't know if you can see in here, but I have half a cup of water. So I'm gonna go take this and nuke it in the microwave, and we wanna try to get it between 105 and 115 degrees. So Fahrenheit. So I put it in the microwave for 20 seconds, and I've got a little food thermometer here, and we're at 115 degrees. That's perfect. I've heard that you don't want to have it too hot because I think it kills the yeast. I'm not sure about that, you'd have to Google. But it's important to have the temperature of the water correct before you add the 2 yeast packets. So we're gonna add 2 packages of active dry yeast. It's so stinky. But bread is one of my favorite things. Okay, and we're gonna stir that in until it's dissolved. Now this is not the rapid quick yeast or whatever it's called, rapid yeast. This is just regular yeast. Okay, so next we're gonna go ahead and stir in our milk mixture and mix it in with that yeast. Just gently stirring. Then we have 2 large eggs that I've already beaten, and we're gonna add those. Fun. I love cooking. Next, we have 4.5 cups of flour. I used White Lily bread flour, not sponsored, but I have used their regular flour to make biscuits. Oh my goodness, best biscuits ever. So I figured their bread flour is gonna be pretty good too. Just mix that up. Okay, this is where we take the rings off because I do not want dough in that. So we're kind of down to the last bit, and it's when it gets really hard. And with dough, I find, you know what, let's just go with the hand. And then we do want our board to be floured. So you just sprinkle some flour over that. I'm gonna finish mixing this in with my hand. I think we're good. So we kind of get this consistency. It's like elasticy, but it's not dry and everything. I think we can then turn it onto our dough board. See that puff of flour? And then we can start kneading. I don't even know if I'm doing this right. You know when you watch on TV and they're just in there working it, kind of like folding it on itself and turning it. That's kind of what I'm doing. It's just folding and turn and fold and turn. And if you find that maybe you need a little extra flour on there, you can always scrape what was in the bowl. Don't mind the chunky pieces, it'll be fine. All right, so I did that. I kept kneading for about 8 minutes, and you can feel it, and it's like soft and doughy and elasticy, but it's not dry. I wasn't adding a whole ton of flour. I actually just put a little dusting of flour on my hands when I thought it'd get a touch sticky, and I didn't really put any more flour down here. Now, this recipe calls for some butter around the bowl area. I have seen other ones, mostly I've done it with olive oil, but we're gonna go ahead and stay true to this recipe and melt this butter and then coat this bowl in it. Okay, so I've melted the butter. I'm just gonna take my trusty pastry brush here and coat this bowl in butter, because butter tastes better. I do love butter. Oh my God, when Jasmine was little, she used to like take chunks of butter and eat it. Like she'd sneak into the fridge. I didn't let her. She would sneak into the fridge to eat butter. I'm like, oh my gosh, child, you're gonna clog your arteries before you're 5. And then we're gonna put this in here, kersplat, and it's gonna get nice and coated with that butter. Just kind of like turn it around a little bit. I wanna make sure it's all coated. Okay, and then we're gonna cover it. Now you can use plastic wrap, whatever you want. I just like to use a tea towel, or you call them dishcloths in America, tea towel in Australia. And we're gonna put that in a warm place for about an hour to let it rise. I'm just gonna put it in the microwave, but not turn the microwave on, but that seems, you know, where it'll stay warm type deal. See you in an hour. Okay, so it's been just over an hour, and it has risen. It hasn't risen like huge, but this is a really big bowl. So, and then you're supposed to punch the dough back down. I did think it would rise a little bit more, but maybe I didn't have it warm enough in the microwave. So we're just gonna go forward anyway. We're gonna pinch little balls and roll them. Oh, I forgot a step. We're gonna take our butter in our baking pan, and we're gonna butter up the pan. Just rubbing butter all over. So it's all greased up. And then, okay, I'm actually gonna measure this by putting it into a scoop. And that way I can kind of try to get like even balls that are kind of like even. So I'm just putting it in that scoop. And then I'm just gonna roll it round and stick it in here, but we don't want them touching. So I've rolled them all up and put them in the pan, and now I'm gonna cover them. I'm gonna try to use cling wrap this time, see if they don't rise up a little better. I may have done something wrong with the process. Like I said, yeast can be temperamental. I read that it could be like not enough moisture, not enough heat, over kneading, under kneading. Yeast is needy, and this won't stop. Okay, bought the cheap plastic wrap. Never do that again. So, guess where these go? Back on the counter for another hour. So we're just gonna sit there and let them sit for an hour. About 10 minutes before we're ready to go bake them, we're gonna preheat the oven to 350, and then we are going to put them in the oven and bake them from 20 to 25 minutes, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I let these sit for an hour covered in the microwave, but I just wanted to show them to you before I put them in the oven because they look so good. I was worried about them not rising, but they're all nice and round and they're touching each other now, and they're gonna go in the oven 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. And then as soon as I pull them out, I'm gonna brush the tops with melted butter, and then they'll be all ready to eat. Yes. Ooh, what do we think? I hope they're not like really heavy and doughy. We'll find out. Well, they look like rolls. Okay, so I just grabbed a little bit of butter and melted it in the microwave. I'm just gonna put a little bit of butter over the top as suggested. And then it says to wait for about 10 to 15 minutes prior to serving. I guess that just means so it can cool a little bit. It's probably still cooking a little bit in there. Oh, these look good. I hope they taste as good as they look. I'm gonna know in about 10 to 15 minutes. I hope they're not like bricks, and then I hope they're not like undercooked, because that will not be fun. Okay, well, we will do a taste test in around 10 to 15 minutes and see what happens. Well, the moment of truth is upon us. Let's see how I did. Just gonna get this corner one here. Feels like a bread roll. Oh, the steam is coming off of it. It's not underdone, so it must have still just been sitting here cooking. It doesn't feel too dense. Not bad. Needs a butter. I love butter. I always butter my bread, so not bad. In all honesty, I think I may have over kneaded just a touch. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the consistency is supposed to be, but it's tasty. I mean, it baked up the right size and everything. So it might just be being over picky, but yeah, I'm gonna go get some butter and throw that on here and finish this off. It's actually really good. It's not like I thought it might be a little heavy, but I'm pretty happy with this. So if you like my video, go ahead and give it a great big thumbs up, and if you want to see more, go ahead and click that subscribe button and then the little bell icon, and you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. We would love to have you along for the ride, and thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you're here in the United States. Bye! So I wanted to have another opinion because I got some butter out and I was like eating the roll, and I kind of was like, oh, this is really quite good, but I was like, I don't want to toot my own horn too much, you know. So I was like, okay, let me go ask my friends who live across the street what they think. So I took them a roll each, and they loved it. They ate it with no butter or anything. They're like, oh, this is good. Oh my gosh, and they ate the whole thing. So even though it looked like the dough didn't rise up all the way it was supposed to, it didn't affect it. These are fluffy and light and delicious. And I think they're gonna be a Thanksgiving staple in our household, and a Christmas staple, and a Easter staple. Okay, they might be a weekly staple. They're pretty bloody good, so. Okay,